I have the pleasure today to have with me in my studio, Maxime Bernier, the leader of the People's Party of Canada. Maxime, it's a real pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much for giving me that opportunity, and I'm very pleased to be with you.
Thank you. So my first question, you have called yourself the Albertan from Quebec. What do you mean by that?
First, I must say that I didn't call myself like that. It all started in a piece in the Global Mail a couple of years ago when I was a conservative minister. And, I was fighting for real conservative ideas and more free markets and a big deregulation at the federal level. And the journalist wrote, Bernier is speaking like an Albertan, and he is the Albertan from Quebec. And I used that after that. I said, yes, he's right. For once, a journalist was right about me. And I said, yes, I'm the Albertan from Quebec because we are sharing the same ideas, the same vision for a smaller government in Ottawa that will respect provincial jurisdictions and that would give more autonomy to Alberta and every province across the country. So I was proud of that title, the Albertan from Quebec.
All right, and I appreciate that very much because we here in Alberta, we tend to be very focused on fiscal responsibility.
Yeah.
And you've served in a number of cabinet positions that are related to finance. You had a background in finance and law before you became a politician. Yeah. And so I have to ask you, what's your opinion of Trudeau's financial policies?
That's a shame. That's a disaster. What he's doing to the economy, as you know, we will be in a recession soon if we are not right now. The inflation is, at a record level, and now it's still more than 2%. And inflation is a tax, as you know, a hidden tax. Instead of taxing us and taking our money, the federal government is telling us you can keep your money in your own pockets, but you won't be able to buy the same amount of goods and services with that money. So, and all these huge deficits that Trudeau did, Trudeau is doing like his father did in the 1970s. A huge deficit, huge debt. And he said at that time when he created that deficit, it's okay because the interest rate is very low. But that's not the case anymore. And as you know, when Trudeau started these huge deficit a couple of years ago, the interest on our debt was around $25 billion. But $25 billion is a lot of money. That is almost the budget of our national defense. So now with the interest rate at this level, around 5%, the interest that we are paying every year on our debt will be this year about $38 billion. So we cannot afford that. And Trudeau is spending the money is coming from the sky. We are broke as a country. And what I don't like also is giving Canadian part of our budget and our money to other countries and international organizations. So our position in the PPC, and it's to cut the budget, to balance the budget, and we can do that in 1 year. But, you have the Conservative and Poliev, and the Conservative are supposed to be fiscally responsible. But Poliev won't say that he will balance the budget in 1 year. And he won't do it because if he's doing that, he will have to cut. And, he doesn't want to have the discussion. So Poliev and Trudeau are the same about the economy and the budget. If you want a real change, we are the only political party that will do that. And speaking for a smaller government that will respect people and our rights and the autonomy of every province. So what Trudeau is doing for the economy is destroying the economy and is also destroying the middle class in our country. So we must go back to real sound fiscal policy and having the courage of having that discussion nationally. And we are ready to have that discussion.
And do you see things getting any better under Trudeau's government, or do you think it's only going to keep going downhill from here?
Absolutely. There's no goal to balance the budget. And we're going to have more deficit. And when you have more deficit, the interest rate will go higher and we'll have more inflation. Now the inflation is around the 2.8, something like that percent. But, it will go up again, and it's hurting everybody, and it's hurting the poor also. The inflation can be globally around 2.8, but for a grocery, if you go to your grocery, that's 9% inflation there. So, and because of the interest rate right now for a mortgage, it's double the cost. So we need to stop that. And the only way to stop that is to balance the budget, cutting the federal government budget, not interfering provincial jurisdiction, lowering taxes to everybody. That's our position on the economy.
And what about immigration and how that's going to affect things?
Immigration is affecting everything, starting by housing prices, renting also in our country. Renting an apartment is very expensive in big cities. You have more people. And, last year we had more than 1 million newcomers in this country. If you add the immigrants, plus the foreign workers, plus also the foreign students, it's about 1 million people. We are a small country of 30 million people. 1 million people every year, we cannot afford that. All these people need a roof. And that's why we have an housing crisis in this country. And Polyev and the Liberals, they're saying, no, it's not because of the immigration. It's because of we need to build more houses. But they won't be able to do that. We need to have at least 350,000 new houses every year in this country to do that. And we're not able to achieve half of that. So the real solution is to have sustainable immigration. We are the only national political party that is speaking about that. So that's having an impact on prices for renting, housing prices, all that is going up, plus also healthcare. As Canadians, you have to wait for surgeries in this country, a couple of months. Our system is not working. Healthcare system is not working. And you have these 1 million people every year in this country. And we need to take care of them. They will have to use our healthcare services. And actually, it won't happen. Look what the Premier of Ontario said. He said, he cannot afford more refugees anymore. So we need to have the discussion, but the Conservatives won't speak about that because their goal is to have more support in big liberal cities like Toronto. There's more seats around Toronto than in all Alberta. And that's why Polyev is going to the left. And Polyev is taking your vote here in Alberta, in Western Canada, for granted. For him, if you're a Conservative candidate at the general election, you may be able to win with 60 or 65% of the vote. So Polyev is saying to his candidates, you will win with 50% of the vote. I know that your people won't like our policy, but we need to have more support in the big cities to be able to be in power. So for the Conservative, that's why I'm saying the Conservatives and the Liberals are the same. It's the Lincoln Party. We have the only real conservative, free markets, common sense alternative. And that's why I believe that the Canadians need our voice and we need their support.
Now, I want to get back to the economy and immigration in a minute, but you've mentioned Pierre Poilievre a couple of times. And some of my viewers are very concerned about Poilievre, that he may not be what he appears to be, that he could indeed be a wolf in sheep's clothing. There's concerns about his wife's association with the World Economic Forum. What is your opinion of Pierre Poilievre, not as a politician, but as a Canadian?